What's up, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Ghost checking in here. Today we get to talk to the new UFC welterweight champion, Belal Muhammad. Remember that name? This guy might stick around. What's that? 10 in a row? You haven't lost since 2019, only once since 2017. So it's like 14 out of 15. Belal, are you already thinking about like how long my run is going to be, title defenses, like, or are you a one fight by one fight guy?
No, I mean now like my early goal was to be the champion, right? Now my next goal is to be the best welterweight to ever do it. I want to be up there and cemented as one of the goats of the welterweight division. When you think about it, I want my name to always be in that conversation. So
Okay.
obviously you don't want to look past anybody, but yeah, I'm already looking at what's next for me, who's next. And we might not be around for a long time. Now we're gonna be around for a long time. We're gonna have this title for a while. And yeah, I just can't wait to get up there and start fighting again.
You're 36, but you're in phenomenal shape and you have cardio for days. But here's why I ask. I feel like Israel Adesanya, Kamaru Usman, once they started talking about, hey, or either the media, the fans, or even themselves, once that topic came up of matching Anderson Silva or surpassing him, GSP, I don't know, man. It felt like now all of a sudden you're running slower or anything. It seems like a lot of the pressure of the world starts hitting you. I think it also hit Tyron Woodley. He reached 4 title defenses. Usman reached 5. Israel reached 5. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even Volkanovski. That's why I wonder if sometimes athletes should slow down a little bit and just, hey, relax, enjoy what you have. And then once you're creeping, let's entertain that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difference between me and a lot of those guys is like lifestyle, right? I'm not one of those guys that goes out and parties or goes to clubs. Like I'm literally in the gym, back in the gym the next week. I'm training, I'm working, I'm always in shape. And I don't have like there's guys that'll go out drinking or like when they're not in camp, they're drinking, they're doing drugs, they're doing this, they're doing that. Like I don't have really none of that stuff that I'm doing. My biggest flaw is eating dessert. So I think that's what separates me from a lot of these guys and puts me into that different mindset. And people beforehand, oh man, you're 36 years old. You're not. They're 0-15 in title fights, yada yada yada. But like I'm a different 36 years old. I didn't start from an early age where I have all these beat up miles on me. I started later in my career, so I feel great right now. I look great, and yeah, I think I'm gonna be on for a while.
Have you ever drank, or is that just something you don't do now?
No, I've never drank. Being a Muslim, you don't drink, we don't smoke, we don't do nothing really like that. So, I was raised an athlete, basically.
Gotcha. All right. No, that's pretty amazing. Honestly, because of the temptations. In fact, I was looking at your Instagram, and that was going to be one of my questions: is how do you make sure you don't get too caught up? You deserve your parades, your welcomings. You know, I've seen a lot of that stuff. Right, the moment there at your house with your mom, your dad, at the airport, and then of course even out in Manchester. But I am seeing some fancy cars, some swag, and so I'm wondering, okay, how do you make sure that you just don't become, I guess, that guy and kind of almost focus on the guy you just described, hardworking, back in the gym, body's the temple.
Yeah, I mean, that right there was basically my team wanted to do that and build that up. But yeah, I mean, I'm still driving a Jeep. They're like, we have to push this right now. It was more so for show. And obviously, I want to celebrate with my family because the victory wasn't just for me, it was for them.
Right.
So, like, they care about all that hype and all that stuff. But we took those cars and we went to, like, community centers, mosques to talk to the young children. It wasn't like we were taking those and going to the club. Uh, it was for me to use my platform, use my voice to speak to these young kids and show them what's possible and what's not possible, and to show them that like no matter what, hard work can get you somewhere. So there was flash, but the flash, I was still grounded because I knew who I was speaking to and where I was going, and you know, I hold myself in that position, and I know that people look at me in this position, and I don't want to sit there and show them something that I'm not. So that's why I tell a lot of these guys, I'm not trying to fake it with this, and this. But they're like, bro, ride in nice cars for a week, do this to that. But I was like, all right, we gotta go talk to these kids though, or we gotta go see my mom, or this. It wasn't like, let's go downtown, let's go chill at the Sky Loft or something crazy like that. But now I'm back in the gym. I'm back to normal now. There is no crazy stuff happening, and yeah, it feels way better to do this than that.
If you did get out of control, who would be the first to check you? Lewis, your pops, another family member, a friend? Is there somebody that would pull you aside and go, hey, this isn't This isn't the
Oh,
bully we
it's
know.
Lou 100%. Like Lou, even after this fight, oh well, you gave him you had the back take and you should have did this. It was like it wasn't. We never get settled to the point of like, man, we looked great in there. He's always telling me, keeping me on my toes, telling me, bro, why'd you let that happen? We got to add more of this. We got to do this. Right when I get out of the cage, I'm like, bro, at least celebrate a little bit.
Wow.
Hey, Bilal, so now that it's all said and done, and I'm sure you had an opportunity to go back and watch the footage of what happened, or even just the week in general, the experience, was there anything that caught you by surprise, something you weren't expecting, something that was a little different than what you had envisioned in your head going into that fight?
I mean, I think the biggest surprise was just like all the love I got out there in Manchester. The people, the community out there was amazing. We got so much help from the guys out there. We even had a gym to go train at. All of that was awesome. The hardest part, obviously, I think in general, more than anything, was the sleep schedule and figuring out how to deal with it. Because we got out there that Saturday, and then basically we were trying to stay up until like 4 a.m. to get a workout in, and then from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. was the workout, and then 7 a.m. you want to try to go to sleep. So like figuring out the sleep schedule was definitely the hardest thing. But the biggest surprise was literally all the love we got out there.
What's been the biggest high since that moment?
The biggest high is just being able to put the belt on my mom. Like I had to go to Abu Dhabi right after the fight. So it like took me like 2 weeks to actually, come home and celebrate with the people that care about me no matter what. Like they don't care. She doesn't care if I win or lose. She just cares if I'm healthy. And my whole family was able to go to the card, but she wanted to stay home. She didn't want to go. So to be able to come back, see her, give her the belt, and let her see that I'm okay was the biggest thing.
For me, phase one was remember the name. Phase two is remember the game. What is it that you want people to remember as far as whatever legacy that you're trying to build here going forward?
Basically, that I think I'm the most complete martial artist in the UFC, where you see me go in fights and I've had to wrestle. Then I've gone in fights where I only had to strike. Then I've gone in fights where I had to defend takedowns. Uh, I always adjust my style to whoever I'm fighting, and I could fight these guys where they're worst at, and I could take these guys to where they're uncomfortable. I'm comfortable everywhere, and I'm good everywhere. So when you're thinking about what's the complete martial artist, this guy could fight any way he wants to fight, and he adjusts his style to whoever he's fighting. I want to be one of those guys you're thinking of because there's guys that are like specialists, and I'm special in everywhere.
Things with Kamaru Usman, those have been kind of heating up here and there. And I wanted to ask you, when you look at his game and what you just went through, is this a tougher matchup, an easier matchup, or is it just different?
I mean, I think it's just different. For me, Kamaru has obviously been one of those guys that was at the top, right? He was the champ, and when you're on the come up and you're looking at the who's the champ, I'm always paying attention to everybody, and I'm thinking how I'm going to beat him, how I'm going to do it, and I wanted to be the guy to beat him, just because Dana White said he was better than GSP and he put him on that pedestal. But I always knew that my style matches up well with him. So for me, when they're talking about the go to the welterweights, his name's up there. So obviously having his name on my resume would be huge for myself because I just beat the guy that beat him twice. But he's still up there, and that third fight with him was close. So if I go out there, finish Kamaru, dominate Kamaru, then I dominate a couple of these the young guys that are undefeated right now that they're saying are crazy. My resume is going to be up there, neck and neck with GSP.
It's an impressive T-shirt, that one with the hit list, and I'm sure if you could add his name to it, that'd be pretty legit for sure. And so now a few weeks have gone by. What are you leaning more towards? Shutting those naysayers up that say Shavkat or whoever, the young guys, right? Versus one of the greats, Kamaru Usman. What are you leaning towards more? Because it seems like you get fueled by shutting people up, because people continue to doubt you.
Yeah, 100%, right? And obviously, Shavkat's the boogeyman that I think could beat everybody. But I also like a back and forth of talking too with Usman, and those fights are more exciting too, just because it gives me something to make him shut up about, and it gives me something to have fun with the build up. There's all respect with Shavkat, obviously, but yeah, for me, it really doesn't even matter. It's just who the UFC's talking about booking, and like we have a game plan for everybody. We have a style to beat all these guys. And there's not one guy where I'm looking at like this guy's a tough matchup for me. This guy's a easier matchup or a harder matchup. I think if Kamaru didn't lose that third fight to or that last fight to Hamzat on a week notice, he would be talked about, and there wouldn't be like, oh man, these guys on a 3-fight losing streak. I mean, he almost beat Hamzat, and even in that third fight, it was a very close fight with him and Leon. But I do think he would probably need a win before getting it. But there's not that guy who, like even Shot Guy, he didn't have a number one contender fight, right? He beat Wonder Boy, and me beating Wonder Boy, I still had to fight 3 more guys after that. So there's not that clear number one contender when you're thinking about it. So for me, it's either one.
Is there someone we've left out? Because I thought those were the 2 front runners. Is there someone you want to fight other than them 2? Since it appears,
I mean, JDM started opening his mouth, acting like he could, saying he'll knock me out in 1 round, but the guy literally got taken down 50 times by Basil, and he has a terrible fight IQ, and I think Burns was on his way to winning that fight if he didn't land that knee. So for me, just throwing his name in the mix just because he wants to talk. But yeah, any one of these guys could get it. Obviously, Ian Gary had a big win against MVP, but he himself, I don't even think he's putting himself in the mix. I think he's saying that he still needs 1 or 2 more fights. But yeah, I mean, regardless, for me to take somebody's or take somebody's winning streak, it's just going to keep adding to what I'm capable of doing, right? People are going to doubt me. They're going to say I'm going to lose no matter who I'm fighting. They're going to say I'm going to lose to these guys. But I still had that chip on my shoulder. Leon's still making excuses saying that the reason why was because he didn't, his dog, threw up on him or kept him up all night or something stupid like that. His coach is still crying, making up some stuff, saying that he should have wrote a better speech for him. So like all these guys always have excuses after I beat them. So regardless, for me, I'm going to be motivated 100%.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't see that stuff. You would think by now they could just accept that defeat. I mean, even though he had his moment in round 5, it was pretty much a butt whooping, throughout the rest of the fight. I think that needs to be acknowledged. I think that's how you get over a loss, but it's not about him. I guess it's about you,
right? I tell a lot of these guys don't know how to take a loss. A lot of these guys, they always look for that excuse, and I think that's why a lot of these guys, they can't get over that hump. They're always looking for a reason why they lost. They're like, you see it a lot, even with like Tony Ferguson, where it's like, I didn't spar in 8 years. Then the next fight, I sparred 50 times, and you still lose. Like instead of saying, bro, this guy was better than me that day, I got to fix what I'm doing wrong. Instead of coming up with excuses, even after myself, I've dealt with losses. Now that I think back to those losses and seeing the stuff that I fixed from those losses, that's why I'm here right now. Instead of saying, oh, it was just a lucky thing, or this happened, or that happened, I would have never got better.
You were right. We talked to you before the footage of the elevator came out, and it was pretty spot on. They outnumbered you. You guys had that moment. Those guys were in there, man. That thing blew up, but it was pretty cool to hear your version prior to it getting released. It did seem like there was some pretty good tension in that elevator. How long did it seem like you were in there, by the way?
We were in there for like literally like 20 seconds, but like I said, even in that elevator, I could tell like he was fake about the whole thing. Like he put his chest up and he came in the elevator only because he had his 6 dudes with him. But if he was by himself, he would have never came in the elevator. And then his little midget coach that was talking. The best scene for me of this whole fight was the 5th round when he tried to give him that speech and Leon told him shut up, because that was the funniest thing. Because I said that was going to happen. I said his coach was going to try to give him a motivational speech, and there's going to be nothing you could do to change the situation. So to have his coach who was talking in the elevator with his chest up, his brother trying to look tough, acting like he's going to do something in the elevator with his eyes. But for me, I was like, bro, I cannot wait till Saturday. And then Saturday, I showed him what was going to happen, and it did happen.
Who was your homie that was leaning on you?
My boy Max Perez. Yeah, I said it.
I got to give him props, man, because again, you guys were outnumbered, but yet he didn't for not 1 second did he not say, I got your back, even if we take an ass whooping here against these 6 dudes. I'm with you. Like I tip my hat to that dude. What's his name? Max Perez?
Yeah, Max Perez. He's my guy. Literally, we have a small gym over here, so he's one of my main training partners here, and he was ready. Like there was no fear in us at all, and he was like, "Bro, if something happened, we were ready to go." But it was just funny because like Lou was in the elevator with us. Well, was supposed to come in the elevator with us, and then last second he ran off, and then but like right when we got out of the elevator down at the lower level, he was like right there. So if anything would have popped off, Lou would have been there at the back end. But like I said, us two would have been fine in there with those 6 or 7 dudes, whatever they're in there.
I know we're at our limit. I got a quick one, and so does goes. And we appreciate your time, champ.
No, for sure,
Listen,
brother.
years ago, I had asked you, and you confirmed you went to college, and I think got a law degree or something like that. You just didn't go and continue and get a practice, and I don't know if you took the bar or not. But I remember at one point, I think you told us your parents were like, "You're doing what?" You know, has that now come full circle? Like, were they able to now acknowledge, like, okay, you made the right career choice now that you are at the top, or does some of them still say, nope, education number one? You know, like, what's that conversation like?
Yeah, my mom literally after every one of my UFC fights, be like, "All right, now could you go back? Could you go back? Could you finish? Are we done with this?"
Even
But now
now?
that's yeah, my mom like she hates the fighting. As I said, she can't watch it at all. She's always just at home, just praying for me. And then once the fight's over with, then she'll post a million pictures of it. But now that she has a gold belt, she's fine with it. I don't think she'd rather have the gold belt than paperwork from a law firm.
That's nice. Shout out to your mom and dad, man.
That's
all right, guys.
incredible.
One last one, and then we'll let them go. Go ahead.
Last one from me, and I just I'm not even sure if I heard this right, but I thought I heard you say that before this fight, had it not gone your way, you had thought about maybe walking away from the sport. And I was curious, do you still have any of those types of feelings, or was this almost like a rebirth for you here?
No, I mean, I think it's just worded wrong, but my mindset in that fight was like, this is my last moment. This is my last chance. So, like, I went in there thinking with the mindset, this is my last fight. So I have to let it all out. That's what I meant when I said it. Like, I still had, like I said, I still have plenty of years in me. And I still have a lot of fight, and I still love to do it. Like, there's nothing I love more than just to be at the gym and training and learning and growing as a martial artist. But I meant, like, before this fight, my mindset was, this is it. This is your Super Bowl. This is the final countdown. We have to go all in right now because there is no tomorrow. So that's how I put my mindset. That's how my focus was this whole fight camp, that whole week. I was just telling myself, this is my final fight. This is my final fight. Let it all out.
Chicago's lucky to have you, man. You've been doing a lot of great stuff for the city. They got themselves a champion. The Bears and the Bulls can't seem to get it done, but Belal Muhammad got it done. How do you like that? A little shot at those teams there while giving you praise. Belal, I'm sorry to ask you this. We got the names. Sounds like JDM, but will you fight in 2024, or is this like you're turning the page till next year for now?
No, hopefully, I'd rather fight than not fight. So hopefully, if I get into the last card of the year in December, that'll be great for me. And I think that makes a lot of sense. You just never know if they don't want to put nobody on McGregor's card. But I doubt McGregor's even fighting. So if they need somebody for that, I'll be there. Alex Pereira to step up. So like I'm training in the gym. My boy Nacho's fighting at the Sphere in September, so I'll be in camp with him, helping him. And yeah, I'm still motivated. I'm ready to go. I'm not going to be a Leon Edwards where I take a year off. I want to make this division great again. So let's just stay active.
Congrats on the fight, and I mean, it's been fun watching this journey from that debut all the way to now, and this win streak's amazing, and I think you're definitely capable of getting right up there with those other welterweight greats, man. You're on a great trajectory. Thanks for the time today. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you guys. Like you said, you've been here from the start, even when Ali had his dominance press tour. Like I always go back to even those questions that we asked back then. But yeah, man, thank you guys for everything.